Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you guys are all well, inshallah. We'll get straight into it. Inshallah, we'll be finishing off Salatul Eid. And then, bi'idhnillah, next week, we'll be finishing off solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, Salatul Istisqa, Salah for rain. And if there's time, we'll also take Salatul Janaiz, or Babul Janaiz, speaking about Salah on a dead person. So in the last lesson, we started with Salatul Eid, and we spoke about Eidul Fitr. Just a reminder, there's two Eids in Islam. The first is Eidul Fitr, and the second is Eidul Adha. Eidul Fitr is after Ramadan, and we touched on that. Then you've got Eidul Adha, which is during Dhul Hijjah. Okay, and here we took the Masail. As for Eidul Adha, the rulings are almost identical. There's one or two things which are added. The first is on the day of Eidul Adha, as we mentioned, even the day of Eidul Fitr, it's highly recommended for a person to take a bath or take a ghusl before going out to the Eid Salah, wear their best clothes, be in a perfumed state or use perfume, etc. As for eating, okay, before the Salah, some of the scholars mention that on Eidul Adha, it's best to eat something after the Salah. And they say it's preferable to eat from that which you've slaughtered. So from the meat which you've slaughtered, they say that it's preferable and recommended to eat from that. So that's why they say in the morning, don't eat anything. Not compulsory, however, they say an etiquette of Eid. As for Eidul Fitr, we say that before going to the Musalla, it's sunnah to eat something. Okay? After that, a person heads towards the Musalla. And during Eidul Adha, we find that there is takbirat. Okay? So on the way to the Musalla, person is reciting the takbir, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Also, interestingly enough, in Dhul Hijjah, okay, you've got the day of Arafah, which is on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. Some of the scholars mention that there is a takbir, or there is takbir which is wajib, highly recommended, close to compulsory after every salah, starting on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah after Fajr, starting on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah after Fajr. So they recite takbir on that day, and on the day of Eid, which is the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, they recite takbir, as well as on the 11th and on the 12th, and some also recite on the 13th. So they say that there's two types of takbir. There's that which is mutlaq and that which is muqayyad. Mutlaq means in those days it's encouraged to recite your takbir all the time whenever you remember. And there's also specific takbirat which are after the fard salah. So those are the takbirat. But as you can see, Eidul Fitr and Eidul Adha are roughly the same in terms of their rulings. There's a few different rulings when it comes to the Fitr, a few different rulings when it comes to Adha. So one mas'ala I want to touch on, and that is the sighting of the moon. Okay? From the very beginning, in the beginning of Islam, you found that at the time of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they had a difference of opinion when it comes to the moon in different places. And this mas'ala in the books of fiqh comes under what they call ikhtilaful matali', where the moon comes out from different places, it comes out at different angles, different places, etc. So, what's the argument and what's the logic and reasoning behind it? The first opinion, there's more than one opinion, but the two main opinions is, the first, everybody should be on one universal sighting. Okay? The whole world should be following one sighting. And they mention, for example, some of the evidence is the Messenger ﷺ said, fast when the moon, when the moon is seen. And he says that if anybody sees the moon, then you fast. Also, they mention that for the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, which is the day of Arafah, and the Hujjaj are in Arafah, the, all the people around the world who may be fasting on that day, it's only befitting to them to be fast whilst the Hujjaj are in Arafah. Okay, so they say that the only way that can happen is if everybody is on one sighting, because let's say I'm one day behind. So the Hujjaj went to Arafah, for example, yesterday, and I'm only going to fast the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, or the equivalent of Arafah, today. I've already missed the day. So those are two of their arguments. They have a few more, etc. The second opinion is that in our terms, every country or every place where the moon has its own, what they call matla', where it comes out. So as you know, the moon is born and it appears, etc. Same like how the sun rises, sun sets, etc. So wherever there is a difference, ikhtilaful matali', you find that each place can have their own sighting. And firstly, they say that at the time of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhum was coming to Medina, and he was asked, and he says, as for us in Sham, we didn't see the moon. As for the people of Medina, they saw the moon, i.e., they were all going with their own sighting. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that if you had to look at it in today's time, if you had to have a different sighting, and I'm just going to draw a map here of the moon. If you had to say that this is the middle of the earth, okay, this is GMT, Greenwich time, okay? Everything going this way is ahead, and everything going this way is behind. So here in the center, roughly, you've got places like England, etc. Okay, here at the very beginning, you've got New Zealand, Australia. Here at the end, you've got America and Canada. Now, when the moon is born, you find that at times it may still be too early for these people here to see the moon. Okay, and somebody here might see it. Do we tell these people, and remember they're hours ahead, do we tell them that now it should also be your Eid and you have to make qada, etc.? It's very difficult and it's very hard. Bearing in mind there's 12-hour difference going this way and 12-hour difference going that way. Okay. Also, when it comes to fasting Ramadan, let's say these people here didn't see the moon. Okay. And then somebody in America had to see the moon. Are we going to tell all these people that you have to make qada of one day because everybody's on a universal sighting? It's not possible and not practical. Also, when it comes to the day of Arafah, so here's Makkah somewhere here, for example. Makkah is +3 GMT. Let's say when the time in Makkah, okay, Makkah is 3 hours ahead here, okay? So if the time in Makkah is 6 p.m. Maghrib, okay, 6 p.m. Maghrib time on the day of Arafah. The Hujjaj are already leaving Arafah, they're going to Muzdalifah. Here in America, etc., the day of Arafah hasn't even started. So the fact that sometimes the people argue to say, no, how can you fast differently on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah? How can you have a different 9th of Dhul Hijjah? We say, even if you had to try to force everybody to be on a universal sighting, okay, because of this time difference, by the time these people have already started the day of Muzdalifah, they've already started the next day. These ones haven't even started Arafah yet. So inshallah, the correct opinion, the one that makes the most sense, is that every place has its own sighting. And at times you find that neighboring countries, especially where they share what we could call a moon rise or where the moon appears, they've got some understanding that, you know what, between us, we will have a sighting. So for example, if this country sees and they say, okay, here we'll accept this sighting and we'll accept this sighting, that's between them. And you find that usually it's regional. So inshallah, there's no harm in that. But as for forcing everybody to have one sighting, it's difficult. Also, what happens in Makkah if they don't see the moon? However, here at the back, Canada and America and South America, they saw the moon. Do we tell these people now you've got to make qada? And more so, do we tell these people they probably on the second day, do you say make 2 days of qada? It's impractical. And what we would say is at the time of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, there were those who said that every place has its own sighting. Also, if you had to look at it, if you had to look at the map of the Arabian Peninsula, and roughly it comes like this. This is Mecca, okay, this is the Red Sea, right? As you're going up north or northeast, you'll find there's Iraq and Syria and all that. It's the time zone in the way we measure it is 1 or 2 hours, if not the same. So it's very small, yet they still had different sightings. And again, we respect the ulama in fiqh, and we also look for that which is practical and that which we can practice upon, backed by evidence. So to summarize, there's no harm in every country or every locality, country or block of countries having their own sighting, which may be different to other countries, inshallah. So any questions with regards to Eid?